Alright, well, I have officially started another project. Yeah. So now, well, that one's my boys. But this mess that I got going on right here, this is mine. This is just one of the famous S10 swaps. Putting a V8 in it. Back here, that beast right there, that's 550 cubic inches of 460 stroker motor. That's going to go in that Galaxy out there. And its transmission. But this is just kind of get you up to speed, see what I've been doing, what's been going on. Been working on getting this thing rewired, putting everything on relays. Just trying to get it set up for the small block. I did find one of the NV3500 transmissions. They're kind of, from what I've learned, kind of hard to find. But I'm still looking for the few little pieces that go right there on the clutch fork. But I got a new slave for that, a new throwout bearing. This right here is a small block, 350, it's 30 over. It doesn't have really hardly any time on it at all. It's still marking out, or miking out at 4.027, which is 30 over small block, and that's kind of like a fresh bore size 027. So, as those you don't know, a standard small block is 4.0000. So this one was cut 30 over, and it really doesn't have any wear on it. What had happened is when this motor was built, this is a Jasper engine, and usually Jaspers are pretty good, but this one here spun the #1 rod bearing and crapped the rod right out the friggin' oil pan. So here's what's left. Yeah, junk. And that's the cylinder it was in. So the cylinder actually survived pretty good. There's no crack in the block. So I guess it's time for a new rotating assembly and some aluminum heads. I got the iron heads, but those are just 882 smog production heads. And then whoever the individual, well, I know who the individual was, but I won't mention any names. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Also been working on the inside of this and the dashboard. Oh my God, look at the wires. You know, right now it's wired up. Everything does work. You got the start. You can hear that solenoid's working. And of course you got fans and fuel pump there. And over here you got your park lights. There. Park lights, high beam, low beam, windshield wipers, blower motor, and it's got a cigarette lighter, volt gauge, USBs. We put gauges all inside the cluster. That speedometer, that's a GPS speedometer, so there's no cable, none of that other crap to worry about with speedometer gears and tail shaft gears. And just put a plug on it or leave the old one in there, tighten it down, put a GPS speedometer on it. They're more accurate anyway. And I did buy a Summit swap kit. from Summit Racing. We're going to check that out. I haven't unboxed any of that yet. One thing I did start to unbox it, but what kind of problem I ran into was I called Techline and they said, oh yeah, you need this kit. I'm like, okay, well then let's buy that kit. And I buy that kit and I get this kit home. And then it says, if you're installing this V8 into a 2.2 model, you will need a set of Transdat 4217 mounts. So, that means that these mounts here won't work. That come in a kit that was $545. So I called Summit. They said, okay, we'll send you new mounts. And here's the mounts they sent. Yep, that's what I said too. What the hell's the difference? Because this kit, 9906, 9906, two-wheel drive S10 Blazer. And it says here 9926. It gives you all the instructions, but it says you use the 2.8, which these are the 2.8s, 4217s, but I don't see any difference in that. I don't know. So, we'll deal with that when we get ready to start putting that all together. And here's the mounts to the motor. They look pretty friggin' beefy, man. Nice setup there. But and I also went and bought, and I know people are gonna post, be like, oh, you shouldn't go with Pro Crap. Well, Pro Comp, I mean. But I've never had any bad things out of Pro Comp. It's the same ignition box, you know, MSD cells. It's just the 6AL. It's their 6AL version, except this box has a chip limiter and it also has a dial limiter. So it's two-stage, basically. More stickers for my hoist. And that's that. And then in this box over here, here's my antenna for the speedometer. We got, you know, the rest of the gauge kit when I get that far. And I got these indicators, little lights, dash lights, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with those yet. We've got a new, here's the new slave cylinder. And we got the new clutch disc to put in this thing. And you know, when you're doing one of these, from what I'm to understand, you're supposed to use the 4.3 flywheel, or you know, a standard GM flywheel. It's the same in the S10 4.3s and the C-Series 1500 pickups and Blazers that all run either the 305, 350, or 4.3, because the 4.3 basically same engine, it just stops right there. You know, you're just missing them two back cylinders. And dimensionally, the rest of the motor is the same as far as, you know, hell, even the serpentine system on the 4.3 will bolt onto it, but you got to drill one bolt hole in your head, and I don't really agree with that. You shouldn't be drilling shit into your head. turned off. My battery down. So if you're going to put a serpentine kit on it, remember that the serpentine kits use a reverse flow water pump. Some of them use a normal rotation, but typically they use a reverse flow. So what we're going to do though is we're going to look at some of this other stuff, kind of throw an eyeball on it. So let me set you down right here. We'll take a look at these Hedman headers. Let's see what comes in the kit. Get a set of collectors and flanges. These are the small ones. The headers themselves, you know, they don't look too bad actually. And you can also use the ball type on there. Ball and socket type. Yeah, I guess they only stuck one header in the bag. Left the other one loose in the box. But, we'll just stick it back in there. It's a header, you know, look it up. And yeah, they're supposed to fit, so we'll see. And of course you get a bent set of gaskets. Which, I wonder what kind these are. Because I like using the copper gaskets. I don't really like using anything else because the copper gaskets, from what I've found by using those, they work really well, they seal really well. Yeah, you see they're just impregnated paper. These are going to go straight in the trash. They're just, they ain't worth it. They ain't worth the effort, time to buy them, let alone put them on. So the next thing we're going to look at is this kit. It comes with the Hamburg oil pan. And that would be in this box. We're going to check this out and see exactly what kind of oil pan they're giving you. Because so far in this kit I don't see $550, but never know. See what we come up with here. Okay, you get decent gaskets with it. Oh, more stickers. Yay. Can't buy something without stickers. And of course they give you the instructions. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I got it. No, seriously, I've done so many of these, it ain't funny. I'll just give you a quick rundown though. When you're doing these small block Chevys, they tend to like let's see here. It's got baffles in it. This is actually looks like a pretty decent pan. Yeah. But when you're putting these pans on, you're setting your pickup here. What you want to do is flat edge across here, measure from here to the bottom of the pan, subtract 1 inch, okay, to the sump. Go over to your motor, and if this was the surface of the motor, you'll take that measurement minus the 1 inch, come up, and you got to make something to come over here, which is pretty simple to do, just some straight edges and bolt them together. And that measurement should be the bottom of your pickup, and you tack that thing in place, and then when you put it in here, that measurement will give you the 1 inch clearance from the bottom of your pan, so you don't, because if you get it too close, you'll suck the bottom of the pan to the oil pump pickup, and that's never good. And if you get it too high, and if you have a high volume pump, you'll run your freaking pan empty. Seen that happen before too. And always use a one-piece drive shaft on your pumps. Don't use that plastic bullshit that GM gives you, especially on a performance motor. No, we're not using that. That's just, I did try to get this running with the 2.2 and found out that number 3 cylinder only had 85 psi, so at that point that motor was done. And we decided, well, let's make it a V8. What the hell, why not, right? But yeah, that's it in a nutshell right now. That's everything that I've gotten for this. That we're gonna do to it. Haven't decided a lot on what I'm gonna do as far as application as far as the motor goes. I'm thinking about a 671 blower. But then all that's got to change, because you're not gonna freaking go nowhere. You're just gonna sit there and smoke tires. That ain't no fun. Yeah, this is all wired up, and of course we'll go back to it, and we'll straighten all this out some more, make it a little bit neater. I am gonna try and keep the AC, which means what I need is the 4.3 Blazer front accessory drive. So if anybody's got a line on that setup, drop me an email, or let me know, because the 4.3 uses that big round AC compressor, goes on this side. The 2.2 uses of course that air compressor, which is the same one that's on the Chevy Blazer, and it sits over here. So I'm looking for the front accessory drive for off of one of those, because it would be nice to put a serpentine belt on it, but it's not really necessary. It's just a cleaner, nicer look. But hey, I don't care about running V-belts. I'll run V-belts. I don't give a shit. I ran V-belts on my last blower car. As long as you put good quality belts on there and some tack on the belts. It's just a compound to help the belt stick into the pulley grooves a little bit better. You do have to reapply it every once in a while, but yeah, I never slung any V-belts, even on a blower car. Of course, the beer machine, it says Pepsi, but hey. Yeah, that's about everything I got so far in a nutshell. The rest of this crap is just shit from when the motor was taken apart. Oh, yeah, I do got one more thing we need to look at. I bought a radiator for one of these swaps. Let me set you down here again. Now this radiator, it's from a place in a galaxy far, far away. No, just kidding. DNA Motorsports. So, you know, I've never used anything from those guys before. But I guess I'm going to try them out this time. It's a kit, comes with the fans, and you know what, judging from the overseas China boxes, I'm not guessing the quality on the fans is all that great. Well, it's a 10-inch fan. You see that? It's a 10-inch fan. You want to see if it works? Let's see if it works. Got the trusty motorcycle battery there. Yeah, it works. Moves a little bit of air. So, okay. As long as it works. I am concerned about how much air it moves, because these fans, when you buy them, that's supposed to be a 1032, which is 1000 CFM. The airflow. This kit, it came with 2. So, no, they're not Hayden fans or Be Cools. But you know what? I'll try them. What the hell? Why not? But I will tell you one thing: if you're going to run electric fans, best fan you could probably get. I used to work for, before I retired, I used to work for Ford Motor Company's prototype vehicles up in Dearborn, Michigan, and the baddest cooling fans I ran across was they come out of a, they were for the, at the time, Ford Escape with air conditioning, V6. Those fans were known, they were to pull so much power and spin so fast and move so much air. They were known to cause the batteries to run down and idling in traffic. Now that's the fans I'm going to go after if these don't work. You can go to any pick apart, pull apart, whatever you want to call it, junkyard, salvage yard, and find you one of those. So let's pull this radiator out. Now this is the radiator. It's supposed to be the one for the S10 conversion. An all aluminum radiator. Now it also comes with the ports for automatic transmission, but I'm going to run a 5-speed stick in this thing. It's going to be fun. All aluminum. Looks pretty good. Yeah, not too bad. I don't think that'd be too bad. Oh, look here, it even comes with your mounting kit. But one thing I do have to do is make a fan shroud for that, because when you're doing one of these swaps, or you're doing anything with like a small block and you boring it and you're doing all this other crap to it and you're putting a cam in it and different heads and flat top pistons and cooling starts to become an issue. Gotta run a fan shroud. Have to run a fan shroud. So I'm gonna either have to find a fan shroud for this, or I might fab one up, which ain't a big deal. Fab one up. Pretty straightforward and simple. Might even just fab one up out of diamond plate, aluminum. Put one of those up on there. It looked kind of cool. Done there with the diamond plate fan shroud. You ain't got to get all elaborate with, you know, when you're making these things. Just this is a little tip. You know, if you can go and buy you some, just go and buy you some 1x1 straight wood. You know, make a box that'll go up to the radiator tank seam, and then a flat piece of aluminum. You know, you cut your holes for your fan in it, and you screw it to that wood, and you use your fan kit. You buy an extra fan kit, and you hold it in place with that. But underneath that wood, just put you some foam around it, and you'll find that you can make a pretty decent fan shroud that'll work quite efficiently. I've done it, I don't know how many times. It works really good. The more surface area you can cover off of the fin's aluminum surface is the more air you're going to pull. Because if you just hang fans on there, typically what starts to happen is as you pull air through, the fans are sucking the air through the front, but sometimes that hot air that the fans are pulling through gets swirled around and heats the radiator back up, as it just does this, a cyclone effect. So that's the reason for a fan shroud. So highly recommended that you get that and put that on there, or fab one up. Do something. Never run just straight fans. That'll just kill your whole cooling system, and you'll be scratching your head like, oh, I don't know why it ain't cooling. Well, because you ain't got a fan shroud. Let's see. And that is about it. And this rear end that's in here, this rear end it is a GM corporate 8.5 10 bolt, which isn't bad. It's okay for a street car, street truck, whatever. And we'll probably cut the ends of it off, buy the Ford ends, and then go to Mosier and have them make up a set of shortened axles for it. Put Ford brakes in the back and the Ford bolt-in axles, because you don't want to use a GM axle when you're putting a lot of horsepower back here, because of the C-clips on the axle. You know, if you lose a C-clip or you break an axle, your axle will walk all the way out the side of the truck. And that's one thing that everybody loves about the Ford 9-inch and the Ford axles, is they bolt in on the side out here with the bearing. You know, when you snap an axle, you know, you'll tear the axle up on the inside. You might scrap the axle tube up a little bit, but they're a safer axle to use, especially if you're going to spool it. Like this truck's getting a spool. It's getting a spool and a 488 gear with the five-speed trans. Like I said, I'm going to change that, and we're going to shorten it up a little bit, because I do got those tires over there that are going to go on it. And those, with Mosier, you can have any bolt pattern you want drilled on your axles, any length. That's a big Chevy bolt pattern on that, but that's a 15-inch wide rim, and I believe those are 16 inches wide tires. So I mean, I could even go to a bigger, wider tire if I wanted to. But you can see that's just a monster right there. That's I don't have a tape measure handy, I don't think, to show you. You know what? I always clean up my garage, and then the next thing you know, it's a mess. I don't know why that is. Somebody keeps getting in here starting projects. But anyway, I did pick up this cabinet from Sears. It was kind of, they had it clearanced out. Yeah, here's the TIG welder I just bought. It's a Lodos. $1,000. Does TIG, stick, plasma cutter. I got the pulse pedal with it. I ordered that separately. I got my Rocket Science plumbing here set up with different valving and stuff, so I can keep my MIG welder down there on the same tank. But it actually works really well. I'm going to try and find a piece of steel that I cut, but I'll find you one and get a video made of it. But yeah, this is going to be a little kind of neat little project, but like I said, I want to keep the AC. You know what? Hey, if I can run AC on a car like this with a Chevy in it, 350, a toy. It does get warm here in Tennessee time to time. I'm gonna leave the interior stock, and the plan for this truck is to go flat black everything. Rims, body, bumper, grill, just black the whole flipping thing out, and roll with it. I did find a wiring schematic to wire this AC up too, so I don't need the PCM or body controller. Right now, this truck is old school all the way. The body controller is controlling nothing. The PCM is totally gone. The wiring harness and fuse panel is modified. All that crap's gone. Basically, yeah, you got 6 fuses across there. That's fuel pump. That's why I don't have one. They go to the rocker switches that provide 12 volts to the relay, and when that relay trips, it gets power, and then from the blue side, it operates your load or your function, wipers, whatever. So it's pretty simple, straightforward wiring harness. It's not hard to wire up. Time consuming because you got to really kind of pay attention and think about what you're doing. I got some extra ports down there if I want to run some other stuff. And the Ford starter, or the Ford solenoid, that's going to go on the small block. I'm just going to run one cable down to the small block starter and put a jumper on the solenoid down there. And another good thing to do is if you got a momentary or push button switch, I haven't done it yet, but you can wire that in up here so that if you need to bump the motor over while you're working on it, you can, just bump it and it'll clear. It's just old school stuff. I'm sure a lot of people already know how to do all that or aware all them little tricks, but for those that you don't, it's that simple. But yeah, it's coming together. I got all the plastic for the interior, and I got everything for that. So this is going to be all stock in here. Debating on a roll cage. Don't know yet. Still debating on whether or not it's going to be a blower car. I love a blower. Can't beat the horsepower, the torque, and the dependability. And the plan is to go with a Phytech fuel injection. by the time you put two carburetors and the only carburetors I would recommend for any type of this stuff is Edelbrock's. I was a faithful fan of the Hollies for years and years and years. Now Hollies are jack stands. The Edelbrock's, you just can't beat them. I mean, once you get them dialed in right, you don't ever have to touch them again. No power valves exploding and running rich all the time. And well, they don't explode, they rupture. But you know, you don't have any of that problem with that. And then one of my last blower car, I had the AFBs on there, Edelbrock's, and once I adjusted them in, I never had to touch them carburetors. It ran great all the time. But like I said, by the time you put those carburetors on there and to get them dialed in and everything that goes with it, you can buy fuel injection for like a couple $100 more. So that's what we're just going to do with this. Just going to put fuel injection on it and be done. And Phytech is the best one out there that I've found right now after all the research that I've done. But you don't have to have a computer engineering degree to dial them in. You know, you give them your camshaft, they put a baseline in it, it learns, and you just drive it. You want to take it to a dyno and fine tune it, you can. They do give you a controller, but it will learn by itself. So that's what I like about that. Now, if anybody's got any ideas about, you know, to debate that, you know, that's fine. We can debate it. That's basically what I'm looking for, is just a bolt-on, let it learn, cost about the same as a carburetor, you know, and just be done with it. But that's where I'm at on this project. So we haven't done any riding lately. My boy, he's been working 6-7 days. Of course, I'm retired. I don't punch a clock. I punch the mailbox for my check. But if we do get a chance to go back up and go do some riding, we'll get that done. I can give you some more information on this big block back here as long as I'm doing all this recording. We got a 500, well, it's actually 545 cubic inches. It's a scat rotating assembly, forged crank, forged rods, forged pistons, plasma moly file fit rings. I got a really good dampener on it, electric water pump, roller rockers, stud kit, thumper cam, the biggest thumper cam I could put in it. Of course, the Canton oil pan, Canton oil pump. Everything on the inside is safety wired. Everything is safety wired on the inside. Prevent any surprises. Stainless steel shorty headers, aluminum heads. And these here, these heads, and there's also a billet distributor in there. There's a Pete Jackson gear drive, a Summit front timing chain cover, aluminum. But those heads, those are PCE heads. Those are the Pro Comp Engineering heads. Again, they fit perfectly. There weren't any freaking funny things I noticed about them. And when they say that the aluminum heads are as cast, that means it's the same exact head that's made out of iron. It's just made out of aluminum. So, you know what? No, you're not going to get Pro Stock Eliminator or Top Fuel friggin' numbers out of these heads. You're just not. You're going to get, you might get a little bit better than stock, or close to even the same, or maybe a little less, you know, because there is casting flange in there. You can clean up all that. But as far as the weight you're going to save on a monster head like that, that's a big head. That's a lot of friggin' weight. That in itself is a benefit. Just not having the extra weight. So when we either get that running or we get this running, because this will get the Pro Comp heads too. You know, let's face it, you know, heads and stuff like that for this stuff is expensive, and people are looking, you know, like myself, you know, hey, you know, if I can save a buck, I will. But I'm not going to sacrifice my motor for it, you know. And I've heard good and bad about Pro Comp. But you know, for the price of the head, even if you compare it to like a Brodex or a Merlin, you know, aluminum's aluminum, pal. I mean, I don't, as far as I'm concerned. And the numbers on flowing, that's just how well it was machined. So why can't you just take that to a machine shop that's got a flow bench and aim for the same numbers? I mean, I've been doing this crap for 30 years. And a lot of people that hasn't, you know, they say, well, no, those are Merlins, those are, you know, and they may well very be a Merlin head. And don't get me wrong, Merlin's you know, they're a quality, top shelf supplier of performance parts. But if you're on a budget and you want to use the PCE stuff, and you know, use it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's a lot of videos on YouTube about people using the PCE stuff, and they're happy with it, and they got good numbers coming off the flow bench. So why not, right? What the hell? What are you gonna do? Yep, I got a mess going on, but this is the project. There's the babies right there. Spoiled rotten brats, if you ask me. But that's it in a nutshell. So as we progress through this build, you know, I'll make some videos and get this up online so you guys can check it out, see what's going on. Like I said, if you got any ideas or suggestions, hey, throw them up there, send me an email, whatever, you know, it's cool. Just, you know, oh, and one other thing, unrelated to the subject, but that whole NFL thing about them friggin' kneeling, is Gary Franchi from the Next News Network. He reported from Liberty Riders, I believe, that the NFL's own rule book, 63A is the part, says that any employee, player, owner, whatever, you got anything to do with the NFL, during the commencement of the national anthem, the players, they're supposed to stand at attention with their helmet in their left hand, and that they can be fined, penalized, and suspended even on the first offense. So the NFL is not even playing by their own rules, and you guys should really get that message out there. I did send, I put a link on Upchurch's website about that, because he was on there bitching about those friggin' snowflake pansy ass people. You know, that just really aggravates me. I don't want my grandson, I don't want my kids or anybody else seeing that kind of what I call unsportsmanlike conduct. And I agree. You go, you know, pay to go to an event like that. You pay to see these guys play ball. You know, me personally, I'll never watch them again. I'm done. I'm done. Even when the news starts talking about them, I'm done. I'll turn it off. You know, don't watch CNN either. Watch Fox. But anyways, back to this. That's where I'm at. So if you got any questions, comments, suggestions, like I said, you know what, if you think of something we could try or do, let us know. What the hell, we'll try it. If we can't, we can't, but you know what, we'll give it our best efforts. So subscribe, give me a like, keep my views going up. You know, I might even eventually try and decide to get one of those AdSense accounts and see if I can make $10. But yeah, let me know. Till next time. Thanks.